podcast, three game developers drinking good Arab tea. I'm your host, Fawzi Musmar.
And I'm Osama Dorias.
And I'm Rami Ismail.
We have quite a special episode today, but I need to warn our listeners about a bunch of things first. As the host, I have this responsibility to our audiences to protect them about what's yet to come in this episode. First and foremost, this is unlike most of our Habibis episodes, which are like very family friendly. This is an R-rated episode. We're probably going to be cursing quite a bit in this episode. So if you're listening on a loudspeaker and you have kids around, I'm going to pause for 2 seconds for you to put a headset on, stop this, send the kids to their room, do something about
Hide
this.
your kids.
Hide your kids. Put a headset on, or like if you're at work and like, your boss is in the room or whatever. This is most probably going to be
Hide your boss.
highly inappropriate episode of the Habibis. So you've been warned.
That's warning number 1.
Second of all, since warning number 1 is issued, warning number 2 is we're going to spoil the shit out of the Mass Effect series.
We can say that now.
We can say that now. It feels so liberating. So I think all three of us have been playing a fuck ton of Mass Effect. So we'll be talking about the entire series. So
Right.
The games came out quite a bit, but the remaster came out recently. If you haven't experienced the games before, you might want to skip all the way till the point in which we're not talking about Mass Effect. We will put that in the show notes. So you can also take that warning now, look at the show notes and go to the timestamps and avoid hearing any spoilers about the Mass Effect series if you've never played them before.
But Fauzi, why are we doing an R-rated episode?
So today we also have a very special guest with us. I think I have a copy of her ID here. We have Anisa binti Abu Fattah Sanusi joining us. Anisa, hello.
Assalamu alaikum, bitches!
Biggest reason.
Astaghfirullah.
We get so much exceptions going on Habibis. It's the first and probably the only R-rated Habibis episode.
Unless we have Anisa again, because then we won't have a choice, right?
Exactly. Every time I have Anisa.
Yeah, I feel so honored.
So Anisa, one of the reasons why we wanted to make this an R-rated episode is that you recently were responsible for the Twitter trend #asswipes. I don't know if you want to tell us more about that.
Right, yeah. So with cursing, obviously we want to be mindful of who we curse at, and I wanted a really good gender neutral word. So I would just call people, "Hey, what's up, asswipes?" And it's just nice. It just rolls off the tongue. To be honest,
I really did want to hear the sentence "asswipe" just rolls off the tongue. I'm just really, really unhappy right now.
I mean, honestly, I have no idea why it's trending in the UK, but I'm just glad it is because I feel so vindicated right now.
The achievements of Anisa.
Your legacy is here, Anisa.
You know how nobody's legacy is exactly what they expect it to be? Somehow this is exactly what I expect Anisa's legacy to be.
Well, on the topic of legacy,
wow, this is a Mustafa level.
What a even better. This is master.
This is legendary, I would
yes,
say.
legendary.
Look at Rami go. Look at Rami go. So Rami, we all know, I think, we, your friends, know how much you've been waiting for this. Everybody in the world pretty much have been keeping up with you, counting down the seconds until the Mass Effect, the remake is now upon us. It is released into the wild, and you've been playing.
Right. I have been playing it. I've literally just that's been my week in terms of video games. I sat in front of my PlayStation watching the last hour of the countdown with a Mass Effect merchandise helmet like a fucking nerd, staring at my screen until the countdown reached 0, and then it restarted. with an hour, and then I cried. It was not great. It was some sort of bug on PSN, and when the countdown ran out, it restarted. It was wild. Anyway, yeah, then I booted up, and then I cried again, but this time because that game is really important to me. I don't know. I played it when I was much younger. The first game I played before I knew there was game design in university.
Yeah.
And when the last game came out, I was Vlambeer, and Ridiculous Fishing was in development, which would be our hit game. So that game, when that game carried me, the excitement for what would come next for Mass Effect carried me from not knowing there was Game Design University to going to Game Design University to dropping out of Game Design University, and then to starting a games company, releasing my first game, getting IGF nominated, starting to travel around the world, getting interviewed in the New York Times. Like, all of that happened while I was playing Mass Effect, right? So for me, that game for me is incredibly special, and just the opening notes of the first game's main menu were enough to shivers. It was a lot. Yeah, it's Mass Effect. Like, what can you say, right? It's Mass Effect, and they did this incredible remastered job of making sure that it's Mass Effect the way you remember it, not necessarily the way it was. Mass Effect 1 is still clunky as hell, right? Yeah. It's clunky. It's not a smooth game. It's not it's kind of broken. It's kind of unpleasant. It's somewhat boring, but it's still at that incredible core of your team, and the travel and the sort of the tropes of sci-fi are all there. I will say I was pretty uncomfortable a few times early on because it definitely shows that this is a 2008 game.
Yeah.
In the writing mostly.
Yeah.
But I'm well underway on my mission. I'm hunting down Saren, and I'm so incredibly happy to have Rex and Liara and Tali back on board, and Caden and Ashley can go fuck themselves.
What? I like Ashley. What's wrong with Ashley?
Get the fuck out of here. Space racist. Get the fuck out of here with that one. Where's the nearest airlock?
All right. Before we start on the more details on favorite characters and how the driving is great and all of that stuff, we need to go around the circle, Habibis, and seeing femme shepherd or male shepherd, and why? Osama, you go first.
I'll go first. Yes, I love. I'll do a little bit of an intro. I love Mass Effect. I've played the first the first 3 games pretty much when they came out, and I was Femme Shepherd the first time around. So this time, I wanted to see the other coin. I'm not a super fan like a lot of other people are. I think it's a great, excellent game, but I can't say I'm a super fan because I didn't replay it like some people I've heard that had multiple runs. For me, I was looking for another excuse to play it again because I did love the game, and now I'm trying to do things as differently as possible from my first run. So yeah, this time around, I am. What's the opposite of femme shepherd? Is it male shepherd, or did you just say shepherd? How does it work?
Just bad shepherd.
Bad shepherd.
Bad shepherd.
This time around, I'm bad shepherd.
Yep. Anisa?
Yeah. So I guess my background with Mass Effect is that I came to the UK in 2009, and prior to the UK, a lot of my gaming history has been just mostly Japanese games. I didn't really play a lot of Western games, so Mass Effect was like my first proper Western game, and I tag teamed it with at the time my university boyfriend. So he would do all of the offensive bits, and I'll do everything else around it. Like I'll upgrade a ship, and I'll do all the I'll scan the planets and just grab things from off the planet, and I never played 1. I started at 2, and I'm sorry if it's too personal, but we broke up at Mass Effect 3, so I never played Mass Effect 3 because it was too painful. It was going, yeah, because we bought it with full intention of playing it together again, but we broke up at a time. So until to this day, I still can't play Mass Effect 3. But maybe. You know what? That was like a decade ago. So I think I'm ready to tackle Mass Effect again, or as I would call it, Ass Effect because Miranda is great.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I just had to. I had to.
Yeah.
But
She's unstoppable.
yeah, but I think we played
Miranda, I
FemShop.
mean.
Yeah. We played FemShop, and I remember with Mass Effect 3, FemShop with a red hair, the concept art of her came out, and I completely and utterly fell in love with her. She was even though I didn't play the game, she was still my wallpaper on all of my computers back then. I still have the hots for her. Yeah.
That's awesome. You know, the reason why I played Femme Shepherd is because when I made Male Shepherd, I made a character that looks exactly like me. So I made like this bald character with a goatee, and then as I started playing the game, I was like, ugh, I can't. It was very painful. So I had to restart the game immediately. And I think I could only last 10 minutes of like me looking into weird me, trying to like be a space hero, which like did not fit me at all. I just switched directly to Femme Shepherd, and yeah, I don't regret it. She is awesome. Some of the best voice acting in gaming, I would say.
I was gonna say her voice is so good.
Jennifer did an incredible job with FemShep. Yeah. No,
Absolutely.
so I guess I'm the only Habibi who played Bat Shepherd. But there's a reason for that for me as well. I never got to play characters that look like me in games. So when I have the opportunity to use a character creator, I tend to try and make me. And it was a miserable version of me because the Arab beard is never in video games. I don't know where the fuck that one is, but like I have a pretty Arab beard. It never gets put into video games. I can either choose between a goatee or a beard with full mustache.
Yep.
Not a beard, not just a beard. That's not an option.
Yeah.
So there's like a weird, slightly too brown Rami with no glasses and only a goatee. That was me in Mass Effect. And now that I restarted, I made that same character again. So it's still Bat Shepherd. But yeah, no, I've obviously watched a lot of Mass Effect over the years, and FemShep's voice delivery is incredible. Not to say that Bat Shepherd's voice delivery is bad. I think that they did a good job there as well. But yeah, I think it's generally agreed that that Jennifer's performance is sublime.
I want to see that Rami Shepherd.
Yeah, I can find a photo. I'll tweet it probably at some point during the week.
You
Ram
totally
Shep.
should.
Oh, by the way, let me make this even better. You know who else is playing Mass Effect?
Who? Oh, your mother.
My mom.
Yes. I just remembered that.
My mom wrapped up on Ghost of Tsushima, and she was looking for a new game, so we put out a poll, and overwhelmingly people voted for Mass Effect, and it made her curious. It's not like the poll is deciding, but it made her curious. I'd obviously been talking about the game, so she's trying it out, and her shepherd is called Mom.
Mom Shep.
So her first name is Mom, and her last name is Shepherd. So she's Mom
perfect. That's amazing.
So,
I love it.
very excited. She's a FemShep, so
Mom's gonna save the
Mom
galaxy.
Mom's gonna save the galaxy. I was really super. Okay. Obviously, we're continuing Mass Effect, so let's continue basically Q&A, because Mass Effect itself isn't as important as the choices you make in it, right? Are you all Paragon? Are you all Renegade? Like my mom, I'll start with my mom. My mom is right in the middle. I thought she would go full Paragon, but she's giving people shit.
Really?
Yeah, she met Garrus, and she's like, "Oh, so you blew it?" And I'm like, "What?" She also, very early on in Mass Effect 1, you meet this drunk guy that sort of like points you at Garrus, Harkin.
Yes, I remember.
She as FemShep, he makes some very sexist remarks to you, and I think the answer she picked was like, "I would rather drink acid and chew on a razor blade."
Oh.
And my mom was sitting there. She's like, "I would have said the same." I'm like, "Mom, holy shit!" So, I'm learning a lot about mom. Is what I'm trying to say. How about you? Osama, you're Paragon, right?
Yes, 100%. I can't do anything else in any game. I can't bring myself to do anything different. I'm sorry, it's boring, I know. but Paragon through and through, 100%.
Okay.
Even if I didn't do it on purpose, those are the only options that I could click without getting a seizure or something.
I love that.
Okay.
Osama's family, of all the countries in the world, they went to Canada. It's like, they knew their son had Paragon genes, and they're like, we need to go to this Paragon country for him to
be
grow
fair,
up.
all my siblings are pretty much like that, by the way. All my
Right.
siblings are just different degrees of the same. So, yeah.
Same genes.
Okay, but then
It might be.
Anisa is the opposite, right? Anisa, you're renegade.
This might come as a surprise to you, but like I may
Oh my God.
present as a renegade, but I'm actually deep down just a big awful softie. So I'm a paragon. I
Wow.
cannot choose. Yeah, I can't do
Wow.
mean choices. Honestly.
Okay.
One of
Okay, you
us.
can't do mean shit, but can you shoot them?
Oh yeah. Fuck
Oh, yeah,
fuck all of
that's
them.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, Fauzi, you then. How about you? Are you renegade?
So I'm mostly Paragon until sometimes I just renegade. Like I lose my shit and I renegade. Like I like I try to like talk to somebody like, can you please do this? No, but can you please do this? No, then poof, shoot the motherfucker because like I'm tired. I'm trying to convince somebody to do something.
This conversation took too long.
Yeah, exactly. Let's stick to like I'm trying like, oh, can you try to live in peace? No, how about you like get those people here? No, all right.
Murder.
let's get this done.
I'm overwhelmingly Paragon,
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
surprised.
Yeah, I'm not either.
but even though overwhelmingly Paragon, I will take renegade when I go. You know what? You deserve it.
Mhm.
Okay. That's fair. Paragon renegade. We got that figured out.
Only Anisa
out.
surprised me, to be honest, but it was a big surprise.
I secretly know that Anisa is like a very like basically a softie, but still, you would think like when you have like this big power fantasy universe, she might go full renegade. But
No.
no.
Yeah.
It's no secret anymore.
Right.
Secret's out.
No. Don't show weakness to the public. All right, anybody who's listening to this, y'all, this is a secret. Don't tell anybody else.
Right.
I'm hardcore.
If you liked our show, please retweet and share with your friends.
God fucking damn it.
No, but actually, this time around, as I'm trying to play Mass Effect, I'm going like I want to like I'm always the Paragon in all the games, but then again,
Yeah.
like I feel that the Renegade they have an easier time. So like this time around, I'm trying to like every time I want to do the thing I usually do, I'm just doing the opposite. So now I'm just
Right.
going like, yo, motherfuckers, I'm gonna kill all of you. I'm gonna kill all of you. All right, peace. And so I can go renegade, Paragon, and the other way around.
Nice.
I mean, it's making it very amusing.
The system for that in Mass Effect 1, like Mass Effect 2 and 3 were great iterations on that. Because in Mass Effect 1, you really needed to pick one or the other to really get benefit out of the system, right?
Mhm.
Because they were separate values. So you could get charm or intimidate, and if you got charm, you could unlock your charm if you did more Paragon things, and you could upgrade your renegade points if you did more intimidate things or whatever, whichever
versa, yeah.
direction those words work.
Yeah.
But you really only got benefit out of it if you really committed to one. Well, I think in 2 and 3 they did a much better job of sort of like balancing that you act however you want,
Mhm.
and that might be different per situation. But I mean, if we're still talking Mass Effect, we're still talking choices. So now I want to know, crew members, Tali and Garrus. Those are the two that come with me everywhere.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like the girl that gets random checked and the guy that does the random checking. I don't know why, but like that's it.
Yeah, I was going to say that I do have a rotation. For me, it's not an everywhere thing like you. But Garrus does show up a lot. Tally shows up a lot. Rex and Ashley. And I know you're going to roll your eyes, but I really like Ashley as a character.
Listen, it's okay. Like you can like a space racist. It's fine. Shit happens.
Yeah, racism is different in space, though. It's speciesism. or something.
Speciesism is different.
It's different.
But is it?
But is it? There are other good qualities about Ashley that you can't ignore.
Well, yeah, she's better than Caden.
But Ashley's good because Ashley like went head to head with you a lot. Like Ashley wasn't afraid to tell you, no, this is BS, and even like, like threaten you. That was interesting. Like that, not a lot of characters had that. Felt like they actually had their own motivations and thoughts. I thought she was a strong character. Anyway.
Yeah, it's very, very strongly racist.
I'm not going to win this one, am I?
Anisa, who did you grab?
I actually really like Tali as well. There's just something about her, the mysteriousness about her that I really like. And I'm in between Miranda and Garrus as well because they both got that ass. So
yeah,
I like a good view, is what I'm saying. I really hope my mom doesn't listen to this.
Fauzi.
Garrus for me, for sure. I like Garrus a lot. Actually, one of my favorite Mass Effect characters is from Mass Effect 2. It's Samara. I like the idea of Justicars a lot.
Right.
Like the concept of Justicars, that they can't help it. They have to follow that strict honor code, even if it kills them. I love that concept. It's like I think I rolled a bunch of like the D&D characters at some point that were kind of Justicars, but like not as well defined as the Justicars in the Mass Effect world. And Samara is like so strong and powerful. I love that character so much.
I think the thing I liked about Samara was less that she stuck to the code even if she dies. It's that she would stick to the code even if she has to kill people she loves.
Yes,
right. Yeah. That was the part that got to me. That was the part about her character that I was like, wow. Okay, this is intense. This is a lot. But no, if I can choose, if I have the option of Tali and Garrus, I will pick Tali and Garrus. If I really need a biotic on board, I'll bring Liara.
Liara, yeah.
Yeah, then that's kind of like Liara is like sort of like a perfect nerd.
Liara is definitely Liara and Tali and Garrus, they're like, the mains, I guess. But yeah, I think in the latest Mass Effects, like I like Morden's character a lot as well.
Yeah, see, Morden. That's the thing. I love talking to Morden. I don't necessarily like bringing him along on missions, but like he's just so happy and cheerful. He just like I like just every time I walk by him, I'm like, hey, what does Morden have to say?
I've already like started bawling when I came across Presley at the start of Mass Effect 1. I'm just like, the first time I see Morden, I'm just gonna start crying again.
I mean, like he had to make some difficult choices in the later games. And I think that what makes his character like starts off as like, is this a comic relief character? And I go like, actually, no, this character is quite important and like where the story goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it starts as the comic relief, and then like Morden will fuck you up.
Yeah.
Like, that's. He's 100% written as like, oh, look how cute this character is. You will love him. He's singing his song. Also, does he die or not?
Yeah.
Also, like, you read, like, I think this is some of the things I love about Mass Effect as a series is that the amount of work that they've done into like fleshing out the lore. So like, you read about like all of these species and their qualities and their nature, and then how those characters are being played to those qualities and nature of those characteristics, and like how those two species hate each other or those two species get along, and there's just so much depth in the world that they've created. I think it's probably like one of the most carefully built and complete worlds in video games.
That's the shocking part is that it's usually like whenever you play a game that's very narrative like this, usually they have a strength. It's either they're plot driven, like the plot is really, really strong, or they're character driven, where the characters are really like relatable and likable or hateable, which is also a good thing. Or like they have deep lore, so they're like the world building is solid. Mass Effect is all three at a really high level, and that is so extremely rare.
And the narrative structure of it is really well done. Like each of them opens up and folds back down in such an incredible. You never notice it. You never notice how it's. But like, there's some really wild, just really wild shit you can do with the narrative. You can like, if you go and you pick up Liara last in Mass Effect 1, she's still researching those ruins where you rescue her. Right. If you do it at the start of the game, she will go like, well, we're not quite sure what happened to the Protheans. And then if you save her immediately, Shepard has had the vision, so he can speak to the Reapers a little bit, right? He can go like, "Oh no, they were killed by the Reapers," and the Yaras were like, "What? I never knew this." If you go all the way at the end of the game, when you basically know everything about what happened to the Protheans, you can basically just lay out her entire life's research to her, and she's just like, "What the fuck?" And it's like the fun. But you never notice where they're doing all of those tricks, and the seams are very well hidden in the structure, and I love that about it. It's
Is there anybody here that doesn't think that Mass Effect 2 is the best one?
No, it is the best one.
It is the best
Oh
one.
wow, that's unanimously agreeing.
I mean, I think we talked about this, right? Like, it's like the first game, they don't quite know what they're making. The second game, they've learned from the first game's mistake, and by the third game, they're out of ideas, so they have to stretch it. Like, it kind of keeps happening to everything. Like, it happened to Assassin's Creed a little. It happened to Mass Effect. It happened like Halo. I think Halo 2 is still the best Halo, even though it's a little clunky. But
and craft-wise, Mass Effect 3 was a much harder game to make. See, usually, like with each iteration, a game gets easier to make. But Mass Effect, you have to take into consideration all the choices that the players did before. So Mass Effect 3 must have been so difficult to just to get it out the door, just to like make sure everything is held up together. That it's like running uphill.
Mass Effect 3 had a lot of like large set pieces and locations, and it was like a lot more higher budget than the previous two games.
All right, Anisa, who did you romance?
Garrus, definitely Garrus. I there's something about that blue alien that I really like. I realized it's by saying the word blue alien that could mean literally anyone else as well.
Right. Liara, Garrett, like there's a whole bunch.
There's a few of them, yeah. But Garrus is a bit specific. I think it's the voice. It's his voice that just gets me, like that deep tone. Yeah.
The was very good there.
Like, if I go on, then just really should be out there.
Okay, Osama, let's swap quickly. Let's.
You're not gonna like this, Ashley.
Please.
What a shock.
Well, okay, but so like I had a good reason. She was the first character to react to my dialogue options at the beginning of the game. Like, actually, because before you have choices of dialogue, and then you see like they cut to her and she makes a facial expression. So I'm like, okay, cool. I could like actually make characters like me in this game, and I think there was that. It was digital love at first sight. Does that make sense?
You never forget your first, yeah.
No, so I just committed. I'm a committer.
Clearly.
It's like later on, she's like, "Oh, other alien races should die." That's how it's like. Well,
I'm committed.
She smiled at me that one time. What am I gonna do?
That's Liara for me for sure. I was kind of curious. I'm like, can I really? Is that possible? I'm like, oh yeah.
I didn't romance anything or anyone in Mass Effect 1, and then that actually turned out really good because you couldn't romance Tali in 1. So I didn't have to cheat on anybody in 2 or dump anybody in 2 to end up romancing Tali, and I was like, well, you know what? Okay, this will work. So
wow. It's like you held out till the second game.
Right. Yes.
It's even more sappy than my story.
It's very halal. Very halal.
Yeah.
Very
Okay. Let's see. What else? What else are big choices?
Halal in space.
Halal in space. Subhanallah. All right, let's see. What other choices do we have? Oh yeah, Ashley or Caden, except for Osama.
What, you don't want to hear?
Okay, so everybody killed Caden, is what I'm hearing.
Think so, yes.
Yeah.
No,
I remember Caden being a dick, so I was like, fuck you.
He's kind of creepy. Oh, did everybody survive the mission at the end of Mass Effect 2 in your game? Or did people die there?
Yeah, mine all survived because like Mass Effect 2, I played it the completionist run, So I did everybody's missions, and I did all the loyalty missions. I scanned all the planets. And when I went to the final mission, I was like well prepared. So I saved everybody.
Nice.
I honestly
So-
can't remember.
Have you ever seen the version of the cutscene where Shepard doesn't make it out of that mission?
No.
It's the funniest shit. If
No,
everybody
I
dies,
didn't know.
then so there is a version of Mass Effect 2 where you don't do anybody's loyalty missions, you don't upgrade anything, you don't upgrade the Normandy, you go through the relay, everybody dies. Normally what happens is you run towards Normandy as the base is collapsing, and then Shepard does this hero jump towards the ship, and then Joker and 2 characters will be standing there to pull him in. If only you survive, then Joker will still be there, but Shepard won't make the jump and die.
Wow.
And then you can't use that same save game to play Mass Effect 3.
Wow.
Wow,
Right. That's a real thing that was possible, which is wild.
That is crazy.
that's super cool.
It takes
I didn't know
guts.
about that,
It takes
actually.
guts to stick.
Yeah. But it's nice to be back in the world. And I'm just happy to be back in that world. Like even though it's not good, I love how clunky Mass Effect 1 feels, and I love the characters, and I love the world, and I'm ready for 2, and I'm ready for 3, you know. And I'm just it's really funny seeing the world again and seeing the thing that aged most poorly, I think, is probably the animation.
Yeah.
You know, when people are doing because I think BioWare had this system where animations were triggered one by one, and they were very well defined. So there's this one animation that's like, I think it's the most Arab animation in the game, where somebody wants to walk off, and they kind of do this like hand wave, but they start like with their hand under their hip, and then move all the way to the top to go like, you know, piss off. Beyond that, there's no good animations in there. This is definitely a Western game in that regard, right? Like the very kind of wooden emotiveness.
Is there like a mod that just adds all these like Arab hand gestures as all the characters speak?
The Arab Renegade version would be great. Middle Eastern Renegade version is like pull the trigger, starts cursing and like making some gestures, and then shoots you in the face.
You immediately throw a shoe at everybody that you disagree with.
Oh my god.
Can they do the upward ship flip, where you know the shoe's on your foot, but you flip it upwards? And
I just want to say
throw
ship flip. It sounds
ship flip.
it sounds so good.
I mean, if you're
don't know.
wearing like a
This is what-
spacesuit, it'd be like a boot, right? You're throwing your like metal
Right.
boot at each other.
There's this thing with Arabs and shoes, man. Like I don't think any other culture have it in the same way. Like if somebody sits in, put their shoes to face you, then people flip out. People like say
Yes,
this
yes.
person is lower than my shoe, or like you know
Yes.
as a curse to say at somebody.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, you want to buy this thing? It's fine. It's worth my shoe. It's like no matter how expensive
Isn't
your
there
shoe
a
is.
curse word
It's
in
still like the
Egyptian that's like
shittiest part.
Yagazma Edima, which just means
Yeah,
like
Yagazma.
you old shoe.
Yeah,
That's actually a really bad thing to say.
Gesma is definitely a curse
I-
word. Yeah, for
I
sure.
like it in Egypt. They will also say like this person, his mind is a shoe, like mukho gazma.
Yeah.
so like his brain is so bad, it's a shoe.
Yeah.
Right.
The Iraqi equivalent of that is kundara, which just sounds like a lot rougher and a lot meaner.
Yeah, no,
In
I
Japan,
mean, I
we
think
also
the
say
curse is,
something like "eat a shoe." Also, like
Yeah.
stop talking, eat a shoe, and shut up.
really.
Call kundara. Yeah, it's like eat a shoe.
Kundara. You say the same thing too. Okay.
Yeah, we say it with a K. I think we say kundara, but yeah, it's the same.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Are we gonna
like,
do
you know,
accent? Are we gonna do accent comparisons on our cursing?
Well, whenever we
We
talk
said
about
the
our
shoe
different
department.
words. Yeah. Shoes.
Anisa, is there a similar thing for your cultures?
Not with a shoe, I don't think. I'm trying to think. Like, to be honest, in our culture, like we don't like things associated with, the feet as well. Like it's very rude to
Yeah.
Right.
like to point with your feet or something. That's kind of weird and stuff. And
Yeah.
Right.
obviously absolutely no shoes in the house. Like that's extremely rude as well. But I would say the Arabs definitely have it when it comes to like shoe throwing, because like
We've mastered the art of shoe
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. What do they use? What is like what is the shoe equivalent?
I guess like in Malay, like if you're gonna curse, we say pig, like babi. Like the worst thing in the
Right.
world you could be is like
Right.
the thing that Muslims can't eat. I'm just like I've always wondered why is that.
Right. I mean, we use the same in Arabic,
Yeah.
right? Like animals are pretty like khanzir or hamar or like
yeah.
donkey or like
Yeah.
those
Kelb.
animals happen a lot.
Yeah.
Kelb.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Kelb,
actually
yeah.
have two variations of that. Like back to the Iraqi accent thing, we either say kelb or chelb, and they're both really equally bad.
I
It's
mean,
actually-
the version the version I know best is Ibn al-Kalb, which
Yes.
is like son of a dog.
Yes.
But my favorite thing is my dad would use that against me if I did something wrong. I was
Have
like,
you
wait,
ever pointed out the hypocrisy of that to your dad, or like?
you want to know like how ship sound? You should try it.
Yeah,
'Cause
I've done it.
I've tried, and it definitely ended in a ship. Like it was not good.
No.
I think it's one of those things like don't translate well, because like some animals to be called as one of the animals in English is cute, but in Arabic it's terrible. Like like in English somebody tells you, "Oh, you dog," it's not a bad thing, but if you tell somebody a kelb in Arabic, that's like a huge thing.
Yeah.
And it's the same with like monkey. Like sometimes when you call somebody a
Yeah.
monkey in English, it could be like a pet name. Some couples call each other
Right.
monkey or something
Right.
like this.
Or you goofing
I
around
feel that's
or
so
something.
weird. That is
That's
so
weird.
weird.
That is so weird, because like in like Arab culture, like we have a saying in Jordanian and in Palestinian as well. We say "أسخم من القرد ما سخط الله," which literally means like God hasn't created anything worse than a monkey.
Oh
so
my
it's like,
gosh.
when you call someone a monkey, that means like they're like super ugly. So like I had a bit of a culture shock when I saw couples like, "Oh, you monkey," like they're calling themselves like monkeys as like a term of endearment. I'm like, "Oh, they're calling each other ugly," and that's cool.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. No, there's a. I mean, Arab cursing can be quite creative, though. There's
Yes.
a lot.
Yes.
I mean, it's very often beyond R-rated, where there's a lot of cursing that I'm not even comfortable repeating at all, not even for the context of an episode about it.
Yes.
But I do have to say there's always a wide range of curses that you can use for most situations. But I think the other thing that I like about it is the gestures. Right? You can't just say a curse. That doesn't work. Like there has to be hand gestures.
Describe a gesture.
Oh, there's a lot of gestures. You have you can do a sort of like it's sort of like a hand flick, not quite a flick.
Flick.
Yeah, like it kind of happens automatically, but it's like you can sort of like move your hands together in like angry ways, or like move them apart in like angry ways. Like how do you communicate gestures via sound?
Yeah, it's really hard.
Like
You're gonna have to describe how the hand looks like.
Right. So if you can do an Egyptian, you have sort of like the patient, the patient gesture, which is like your fingers together.
Yeah, all five
Right.
fingers together. Yeah.
That
Right.
is so funny.
You can-
Whenever I have an Italian friend visiting, and like we go somewhere in you go into any restaurant and they make this gesture. Like in Italian, it like means like a giant "fuck you," and and for us it means please wait a little bit. And like we go to a restaurant, like a table for three, please, and then they're like "fuck
Wait.
you."
it says, is that right? Like the tip of all of your five fingers put together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that one.
I think
including
that
your thumb.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah. So that gesture in Malaysia just means rice.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Please don't ask for rice in the Arab world, Anisa.
Not in
It's
Italy,
like-
especially.
Because if you imagine,
Um,
if you eat rice with your hand, like you kind of scoop it up with the tip of your fingers, right? So it's kind of like, yeah, you need some rice, you know?
Yes,
Right.
that makes sense.
That's funny.
and there's another one I really like. You know, the sort of gesture where you put your pointing finger and your thumb together, and your 3 other fingers stay up.
Yeah,
Like the okay sign.
like they're okay.
The
so-
okay sign. If you do that in Arabic, but you move your hand forward and backward, it's like an authority, sort of like you're angry. You're
Yes.
warning somebody, like be careful.
Yes.
My dad will do that one. If I didn't change, that's ship.
Yes.
Right? But like that's like it's a very specific genre. But that's like okay everywhere else. So I'm just like, why are you doing okay at me? And it's like, no, you better watch out. It's like, what?
Yeah, I heard that the okay sign in Iran is a curse.
Yeah.
I have to verify it, I guess, but I've heard that from a Persian friend, so I don't see why he would lie to me about it.
Okay, I'm self-reminded, don't do the okay sign when you're talking from anyone in
Well-
Iran. Oh my gosh.
I did public speaking around the world, and as an Arab, I gesticulate a lot.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
Yeah.
really have to unlearn most of my gestures because, like, showing the palm of your hand is different. Like in Arabic, you have like the open hand upwards with the thumb up, and you sort of like shake it, which you can kind of means upset,
Yes.
right? But like even small things like thumbs up mean very different things around the world. So there's countries where you absolutely should not do a thumbs up motion, especially not if your hand is coming from lower, because then it means up yours. And I'm just like, so you really quickly learn to like avoid gestures.
Oh, so you know when you do like the peace sign with 2 fingers up, but if your palm is facing away in England, that's okay. That's like a regular peace sign. But if your palm is facing yourself, so the back of your hand is facing the person, that is up yours in England.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
I keep seeing some of my Asian friends kind of do the peace signs backwards like that because it to them doesn't mean anything, and I'm just like, that's just rude.
Right. The other one in the Arab world, ta'ala, come here, is actually with your hand down. Sort of like the come closer. It's like your fingers point downwards and you
you're
move
right.
towards you.
Yes,
You're right.
right.
Yes.
It's true.
You do ta'ala, you do like your hand points down, and then you do the come here sort of like gesture with 4 fingers.
Yeah.
But in the rest of the world, that means nothing. Like it's very confusing to people, and it
Yeah.
looks more like go away
Yes,
to the Western
yes,
people.
I've done that. I've done that. Like I think that's the same in Asia, where like because like the little golden cat that you see in like Chinese shops, where
Yeah,
right.
the arm is coming downwards. So that's kind of like come hither, that kind of thing. So similar, like when we're again we're telling people come here, using that gesture. British people think I'm telling to fuck off, and I'm like no, opposite. Come here.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
like
really well,
there's,
but like
when we were talking about the up yours, the Arab,
Yeah.
the finger gesture is different than like in Western culture. It's about closing, closing all of your fingers except for the middle one. You extend that, and then your palm is facing you, and the back of your hand with the finger extended is being handed to someone.
right.
And in the Middle East, it's the opposite, in which only you open your hand, your palm is facing the receiver, and then you only drop your middle finger,
Right.
and you
Oh.
tell them khud, as in take.
Take. Yeah.
Take that.
Yeah.
So that's like up yours, and like the hand gesture is slightly different. It doesn't mean anything in the West, but it's like so. I remember like some people when they started. I had a friend of mine who gave one person the finger with the gesture I just described, and then he gave them with the one with the Western way of doing it. And he's like, "I'm gonna give you 2 fingers up yours, one normal and one British one."
Right.
I just thought it was funny that he needed to make that distinction, and that he was
Right.
like, "It's probably British. That's how I'm gonna use it."
It's or you know the one where it's your two hands next to you, right?
Mhm.
Like to your
Like
sides.
yeah, to your sides. It's like wallah, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
gesture. Like you put your both hands up. Like it's another one that's you can combine that in a way where it's actually aggressive, because you can combine a lot of these gestures to change context. But if you like do the warning one, you know, the okay sign, but like moving it back and forth really quickly, and then kind of like slap your chest and you put your hands next to you, it means like I will fuck you up, I swear to God, right?
We
I
have
love the
this.
versatility of the gestures.
We have this other gesture in which like you hold very strongly to one of your front teeth. So like you hold to one of your strong teeth and you pretend like you're yanking it off, and this is to denote that somebody is being very cheap. And like that person is so cheap, and then they hold their teeth and go like he's like this, mwah, mwah, and then like there's that guy so cheap.
Is do you also have like the sort of like the click with your tongue as like an offensive sort of sound?
A single one of those could mean either no, like no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Or a disagreement. So it'd be like
right.
Rami would say, "I'm gonna be 30 minutes late." We're like, "Okay, Mashi." that means that I don't like it, but okay.
It's true. Like if you were really angry at somebody, and
Yeah.
I went and I like taped your hands together, you wouldn't probably be able to be angry, right?
Oh no way! I'll probably need to headbutt someone at that point.
what is it with headbutting in the Arab world as well? I've seen my dad do that in fights, and I'm just like, there seem to be better ways to hit these people than with your hand. But okay, is there something really typical about anger in Malay culture, Anisa?
A lot of shouting, but I feel like that's the same anywhere else.
Fair.
Yeah. Like this is the thing, like a lot of like Malay cursing, I'm not actually really good at Malay cursing because I feel like it's too harsh. I know this is weird coming from me, right? The person who curses all the time, because like I curse usually in English, and I think English curses are quite mild, which is why I do it a lot. But when you curse in Malay, it's just really brash and harsh and like coarse, and it usually alludes to like some kind of female bodily part, usually
Right.
belonging to a family member. And I think that's why I just really dislike swearing in my
Right.
mother tongue.
Right.
Yeah.
I have Arab is very similar, to be honest.
Mhm.
Like it's a lot of body parts, a lot of like family members' body parts.
You know, I actually only learned how to proper curse in college because I like mainly spoke to my parents in Arabic and nobody else. So I heard, you know, the very like they're not going to teach me the really bad words, right? Like they taught me the hmar and the kalb and the like other ones too, like athwal, which means idiot, or zaqnabut, which means like poison. But they didn't teach me the really.
I've never heard this before.
Never either, but that's cool.
Yeah, like
Zaqnabut.
usually it's like an order, like eat poison or something along those lines. Yeah, but it's like look it up, Zaqnabut. It's an Iraqi thing. But like those are the mild ones, right? The heavy ones, like I remember I went to college and I'd meet some like white colleagues or fellow students, and they'd say, "Hey, I know an Arab curse word." I'm like, "Okay, hit me," and they'd say it. I'm like, "I have no idea what the hell that is," and that went on for a while before I started learning them, just because of what it is. But my God, they were harsh. Like I used to think, Arab curses are mild because those are the ones I knew, but no, not at all.
It's funny because I grew up like Dutch, and Dutch cursing is just atrocious. Like it's really, really, really bad. They curse with like diseases and stuff like that.
It's
You're
the
like,
worst. I've heard
it's really
something
Dutch
like,
cursing.
may you have typhoid or something like that. That's a Dutch curse.
Literally, like Dutch people stub their toes and they will yell something like cancer. It's like,
Wow.
what? So then, And then my Arabic cursing, most of how I ended up learning Arabic cursing is because my dad would drive in Cairo. So there's no way around it. There's going to be cursing, right? And then obviously in the family, you kind of had like the animal curses, like hamad he would never use khinzir towards us, but hamad or ibn al-kalb would happen every now and then. Oh, I didn't get that one. I got tizik hamra. Which is literally your butt is red. Which
this sounds like a reference to monkeys, and if it is a reference to monkeys,
right?
Monkeys they have red butts.
Right.
Could be.
Every now and then those would happen, and then every now and then you'd hear him say something like worse, and I'd be like. But then I think Anisa's right. Like English cursing is very mild. They say, but it's because they're so conservative. Like they say fuck, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, how can you say fuck?" And it's like,
or there's the C word as well, which I quite liked using, to be honest. But
it's like they're just like shit. It's like no, that means poop. Are we ready? Is poop like really the word? Like I guess we use khara in Arabic as well, but
it's one of the tame ones, right?
Right. It's like the kind of stuff where you're like English cursing is just they're kind of weirdly polite compared to a lot of other languages.
It really does feel really like held back a little bit. I think it's uncreative as well. Is what I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. True.
It's like something related to bodily functions. It's like, oh no, bodies? No, we don't speak. We don't speak about those here. Yeah, it's not very creative. It's true, but it makes it very easy to use. I think that's true. I did realize though that you can't combine them with gestures well, which to me is just that loses so much of the beauty of cursing.
Yeah.
What gesture are you going to make with fuck?
The middle finger usually.
But that's not a good gesture. What the fuck does that mean? It's not an angry gesture. There's like angry gestures that you don't make towards friends either in Arabic. Flipping somebody off, you can do that to your best friend when they say, "I'm not going to get the popcorn."
I actually flip both fingers up as hello and goodbye to my friends. And I forgot that not everybody realized that's my brand. So I kind of just did that to somebody recently, and they talked to a friend of a friend, and I got the message eventually, be like, "Why did Anisa flip me off? Did I anger her?" I was like, no, I'm being friendly with you. It's a friendly gesture.
Oh no!
Lucky for us is that we're not recording this podcast in person, so Anisa wouldn't be able to give us the same treatment as we wrap it up for today, would she? Unless you have an audio version of
that.
Nice.
Masterfully done.
Thank you. I've been studying your technique.
Yeah, I think you're the new master of transitions now. I love it.
I honestly, I did not see that one.
Me either.
Very clean. And he said, this is just the three of us being very impressed at how we're slowly getting better at this spot now.
We still don't know what we're doing, but we know a little bit more than we did when we started.
I've heard of the episodes. You're all getting better for sure.
Why, thank you.
Wow, thank you. Sure. Okay. This was a good R-rated. Can we never do this again?
I mean,
until the next time I'm on is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying too.
Until the next time Anisa's on. But this is gonna give me stress editing, just skipping over all the cursor. Because full disclosure, every now and then we curse on the podcast, and so far I've always edited it out.
You say somebody, but you can say it. It's usually Fauzi.
So whenever Fauzi curses,
it's true.
I have to edit it out.
I wasn't calling you out there. I'm sorry.
I mean, but also you were.
But also I was.
Yeah. Fauzi takes the renegade option every now and then.
Exactly.
So I edited it out, and I'm gonna sit here and just go like, somebody's gonna go fuck, and I'm just gonna go like, leave it, don't touch it, خلاص. Just think of astaghfirullah and keep moving.
I fully expected an astaghfirullah filter for my episode.
There was this one time where, like, Rami kind of lost his shit for a good full sentence out of the blue, and then Osama and I were like, quickly to the chat.
I remember that.
It's true. It's true. I don't remember what it was about, but I really lost my shit for like a good sentence and a half. And both of you in chat were like, that was cursing. I was like, oh,
Yes,
crap.
we were racing each other to mark it. It was too good.
Osama and I like just muting
Anyway.
ourselves and lolling and then typing in the chat like, oh, Rami's really going out. This is
It was so good.
Am I the local Anisa?
I think you are.
Astaghfirullah. No, okay, let's wrap this one up.
Let's wrap this one
I
up.
was so impressed. I was so impressed, Fauzi. Really well.
Thank you very
well
much. And also, thank you
Good.
very much, everybody else, for listening to this episode. Thank you very much for joining us, Anisa. We'll be looking forward to having you again on another R-rated special Habibi episode. Hopefully next time when you're around. Thank you very much for joining us. Where can people find
fuck
you?
yeah,
if they want to
definitely.
interact with you?
You can find me on Twitter at Studio Anisa.
R-rated.
Not safe for work. All of that.
Not safe
Most
for
of you
like, not safe for Muslims.
Not safe for Twitter.
Not safe for mom, actually. No.
Honestly, I think that is honestly the best way of describing your feed. Is just it's not safe for mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's safe for it's pretty. It's a very agreeable feed full of useful information and wonderful initiatives and cool stuff. And then also just don't let your mom read it.
I love
Fair.
I love my mom very much, but like every time I see her, she's just like, could you just not? Like for once I just want to watch one of your things, and could you just not swear? I was like, I'm sorry, mother. I'm sorry. It's like, where did you learn this from? Don't fucking know. Oh, I'm sorry. Shit.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Take it easy. Salam.
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 That was the Habibis podcast for this week. I am Fauzi Masmar, your host for this episode. You can find me on Twitter at Fauzi Masmar. My fellow Habibis were Osama Dorias, who you can find on Twitter at Osama Dorias, and Rami Ismail, who you can find on Twitter at THA_Rami. Send us your questions, stories, and suggestions via info@thehabibis.com. Intro and outro music was provided by Malik Zubayla, and the logo was provided by Ibrahim Handi. The Habibis is a weekly podcast about 3 game developers drinking good Arab tea, with new episodes launching every Friday, inshallah. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe to your favorite podcasting service, or check out thehabibis.com for more information. Thank you for listening. Salam.